fellow oddities, welcome to a new video. Today we are doing another every character designs ranked video. This time we'll be covering Jax. Now I was actually really surprised with just how many Jax designs there are. This is definitely the character with the most designs since like Liu Kang or Raiden or something like that, which is kind of weird for a character like Jax. But anyways, before we get started, let's reiterate the rules for the people who haven't seen the previous videos. The first rule is that I'll only be taking designs from Mortal Kombat games, which means no comics, movies, or cartoons, and no other games like... Jax hasn't been in any other games, but just in case. The second rule is that I will not be taking any repeated or reused designs, which means no recreated classic costumes from the later games, and also nothing from Mortal Kombat Armageddon, but that's not that game's fault, because it had like 60 characters in it, and they couldn't make new costumes for every single one, so I don't want to hear any Mortal Kombat Armageddon slander in the comments. If you want to know more about why that game is actually pretty good, then watch my previous video where I ranked every single Mortal Kombat game. Link will be right up here. The third rule is for Mortal Kombat 11 only, and it's that I will only be taking designs from the story mode because Mortal Kombat 11 has a lot of designs that just aren't worth talking about. And the fourth and final rule is that I will not be taking any designs from any of the Mortal Kombat mobile games. That's right, I had to rephrase the rule because there's more Mortal Kombat mobile games now. And hopefully there aren't any more in the future. Hopefully, but you know, this is WWE, so that's probably a tall order. Anyways, without further ado, Jax has 19 designs, so let's get straight into it. Pretty sure most of us can agree is not very good, the Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance alternate skin. This design is literally just like a stereotype, and it's something Jax would never wear, and I'm honestly confused on how it even happened. Like, if you thought of, alright, we have a military officer, right? And he has giant metal arms. That's like the main premise of Jax. This design literally has none of those aspects whatsoever. So like, is it even Jax at that point besides just saying that it's him? And literally the only justification for why Jax has this design is because he's black. Like, that shouldn't be controversial. This doesn't make any sense. That's the only reason why he wears this design. Moving on to the rest of the designs, which are actually somewhat related to the character. At number 18, I have his Mortal Kombat 11 Kronika design. Yeah, you can probably feel the bias I have here, but I really don't like this design. Obviously, this is what Jax wore once he started working for Kronika as one of the bad guys in the Mortal Kombat 11 story mode, and it just doesn't really look like Jax. Like, I get it's supposed to be like the whole Kronika aesthetic, like with the white and gold and stuff, but like they could have made it a bit more Jaxy, or just had him wear his normal default design. Like, the Revenants didn't get a new set of armor when they started working for Kronika, so I'm not sure why Jax did. The only other character that got a new design once he started working for Kronika was Frost, and she actually had a justification for that because she was turned into a cyborg, whereas Jax, I mean, pretty much always been a cyborg, so like, there's no real reason for this new costume, other than just to say, oh, this is Jax and he's evil now. But yeah, I'm really not a fan of this design, and you could put it on really any Mortal Kombat character. It doesn't have to be Jax, and that's a big problem when you're making a costume for Jax. It's not even really obvious that his arms are made of metal. They kind of just look like normal sleeves that would be part of the rest of the suit, and so it's really not special to him, and it's just not a design I particularly fancy, especially with it being tied to Kronika, who's a terrible character who shouldn't exist, but we're not talking about that today. Let's move on. At number 17, we have a design from a game that might shock you, but once you look at the design, it'll be pretty obvious why I put it here. I have Jax from Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. Now, does this look like Jax? And does it have the black and purple that Jax is known for? Yes, but my big problem with it is that just the way the body looks and the way the straps are formed around his chest and body make it really look like this design was supposed to have metal arms, and they just replaced them with his normal ones because they had to be accurate to Mortal Kombat 2. And that really just makes the whole thing look really odd. Honestly, this design just makes me wish even more that we got a Shaolin Monks sequel so we could see what Jax would look like in this kind of game with the actual metal arms, because I just know they would be able to do it justice there, but they couldn't do it justice here, and that's the problem. So we have here at number 17, this Jax design. Let's move on. At number 16, we have another Mortal Kombat 4 alternate costume. MK4 just has the weirdest philosophy when it comes to their alternate outfits, because, like, what is this? Like, what reason is for this design? Like, at all. It's just Jax with black pants and a white tank top. Why? Why does this exist? Like, what is this referencing? What is this supposed to be? What's the thing that makes this design unique or different? It's just a random design that you just decided to give the character that makes him look like he's cosplaying Liu from Mortal Kombat 1995. And other than that, there's literally nothing to say about this costume because that's it. It's just Jax with a white tank top. Moving on. At number 15, I have a design that might be controversial, but I'm not quite too sure. I have his design from Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance here because I think there's just too many little accessories and additions that are unnecessary, such as the hats or the sunglasses or the gun bullet strap thing. I don't know what they're called. I also think his arms are just way too big and bulky. I mean, just look at his hands. Like, when he puts them in a fist, they just look like giant ball. Okay. Maybe don't say it like that. But they're just giant and round, and it's weird. I would have much rather seen his early concept art designs, but instead with the pants of this design, just to make it fit with the overall theme and overall tone of the game a bit better, because the superhero spandex pants just wouldn't really fit. And I think that would have been a fun enough design for Jax that would have been a bit more modern than the earlier games, but not like this. At number 14, I have his Mortal Kombat 9 alternate costume. Now, the problem with this design and the problem with the design that's going to come right after it is the fact that it's Jax and his main character trait is having metal arms, and in these designs that I'm talking about, he doesn't have metal arms, which, yes, it's part of the story, and especially a part of this game's story where, like, eventually he has to get his arms ripped off, and obviously he can't just have his metal arms for that because it wouldn't make sense to have his metal arms ripped off, and then you get what I mean. But the problem with this design is that it's just not really the full Jax experience. Like, it's cool enough. It looks like Jax. I'm not sure how big of a fan I am of the, like, metal armor and the glowing bits and the rings around his arms and stuff, but it's a fine enough design. Just, it needs metal arms because that's what makes Jax Jax. Same thing with the number 13 design, Mortal Kombat 2. Now, this design is going to be higher just because, first of all, it's more colorful. I just like the design more. But also because it has more of a justification because they're still kind of finding their footing when it comes to Jax. Like, obviously, they didn't know Jax is known for his metal arms and then just have a design that doesn't have metal arms. They just didn't know that Jax's main feature in the future would be metal arms. So I feel like there's more of a justification there for this design not to have them, but it still doesn't have them. It's still not really Jax to me, so I'm going to put it at number 13. At number 12, I have his Mortal Kombat X Farmer Jax skin, and I mean, yeah, it's a farmer version of Jax, so it's not really like military Jax that's actually like Mortal Kombat Jax. It's just like Jax, but he's wearing a farmer's outfit. Like, that's the main premise of this design, so here it is. I guess. Just kind of there because it's Jax, but he's a farmer. Now, number 11, I have a design that people might hate not being like right at the bottom, but listen, it's not that bad, all right? I have his design from Mortal Kombat Special Forces. Now, before everyone starts hating on me and telling me to kill myself or something, listen, all right? This design is basically just his Mortal Kombat 4 design, but with green pants instead of red. Like, that's it. Oh yeah, and he also has a do-rag. Like, come on. Green and a do-rag cannot ruin a whole design. Not as good as Mortal Kombat 4 design, which we'll talk about later, but, you know, it's okay, alright? Let's not be biased here, alright? Even though I was biased with the whole Chronica thing. But, come on, guys. This isn't bad. Now, breaking the top 10 Jax designs. At number 10, we have his outfit from Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe. I almost forgot about this design, but you know what? It's pretty okay. This is kind of a weird prototype of his Mortal Kombat 9 outfits, like both of them fused together. Like, I don't know, it just kind of gives that vibe of Mortal Kombat 9, but it also has the more metal platey arms, the more bulky ones from the 3D era. So it's just kind of a weird conglomerate of a lot of things. But you know what, it's a basic Jax design, and I think it's pretty okay. I think there's a bit too much black on it. I think it's a bit too, this is going to sound weird, but it's a bit too covered up. Like, Jax, he normally is shirtless. He normally has the big muscle showing. That's a part of his character. And I think this design just kind of looks weird when you don't really show that. At least for a young Jax skin. Like, for older Jax, I understand because, I mean, I don't think old people really show their muscles that often. But yeah, just saying. Like, it's not an end-all be-all, but like, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. At number 9, I have his Mortal Kombat 11 present design. So this is the one that he was wearing in that one scene where he was sleeping on the couch and Kronika came in and recruited him to her side. And I think this design is pretty okay. It kind of shows how Jax is a bit disheveled after just years and years of fighting demons and creatures and sorcerers and being revenant and all that stuff. Like, it kind of shows in this design. He just doesn't look great. I don't really like the arms that they gave him in this design. I think there's too many different colors and plates and just stuff on it that makes it look not great and kind of over designed, but you know what, I can live with it. And the rest of the design is it's there. It's a good older Jax design. I think it's pretty okay. It does its job. Moving on to number 8. At number 8, I have his Mortal Kombat X tournament design. Now, this design is kind of just his Mortal Kombat 9 design, or at least that's what it's supposed to be, and I think it does its job fine, well enough. Like, this is the whole tournament thing. It's supposed to be like what they were doing during the whole tournament stuff, and even though actually Jax he didn't have his metal arms during the tournament, so the name of this design doesn't really make sense. But you know what, I know what it's supposed to mean, so I don't even know why I'm like arguing about this. But point is that it's supposed to be like a recreation of his Mortal Kombat 9 outfit, and it's okay. It exists. It's good. Why it's at number 8. Yippee. I like the green pants they gave him, though my problems with this design is that I think the arms are a bit big, but that's just like how his arms are in Mortal Kombat X, so I can't complain too much because they would have to change like the entire model just to make it fit smaller arms, so I get it. And also the other problem I have is that I think it's weird how he has like a bunch of scars on his body, but like the older Jax doesn't really have those scars, and none of his other designs really have like those scars across his body, so I'm not sure why they're there. And I don't know, it makes more sense for like an older Jax because he's been through war and all that stuff. That would actually make sense for him to have scars, but this Jax is much younger, so I don't know, it's just kind of weird, but like, is it really that much of an issue? No. Let's move on to the next design. Speaking of his Mortal Kombat 9 design, at number 7, I have that very design. Like I just said, for his tournament Mortal Kombat X outfit, this one is pretty okay. It's pretty basic Jax stuff. It's just like shirtless with the metal arms with some color pants. Sometimes it's green, sometimes it's purple, sometimes it's red, but this time it was like a super dark green, and you know, that's okay, I guess. Yeah, this is Jax. Like, it's kind of representative of the entirety of that game of Mortal Kombat 9, aka just Mortal Kombat, because I mean, the game is just Mortal Kombat, like plain and simple. Like, you just look at this Jax design and you say, oh, that's Jax. Like, nothing special about it. There's nothing like crazy that ties it to this specific game. It's just, that's Jax, and that's how this game works. There's nothing crazy or specific about it that you can like go back and go, oh, this game had this. Nope, no, it's just Mortal Kombat. Like, you can go to Deception and say, oh, that's the game with Onaga in it, or you can go to Deadly Alliance and you can say, oh, that's the game Liu Kang died. But with this game, it's just like Mortal Kombat. That's the game where stuff happened. Yeah. Number 6, I have a design that I really wanted to put higher, but I just couldn't because it's not really Jax. But this is the Carl Weathers skin for Jax from Mortal Kombat X, where he was indeed voiced by Carl Weathers, which is pretty awesome. It's based off of his appearance in the Predator movie from 1980 something, and his character got his arm blasted off, so quite fitting. Other than that, it's a pretty basic Jax design. His arms are like super dark for some reason. Like, I think they're supposed to be a dark green, and it looks slightly weird. Like, I'm not sure why they couldn't have just like given him his normal arms, because that would be more accurate to the character in the movie, or just give him one metal arm, because that would be really accurate, because the character in the movie only had one of his arms blasted off, which now that I think about it, he did die, so it wouldn't really make sense for this hypothetical scenario where he does get a metal arm, but you guys get what I'm trying to say. Like, it would be cool if he only had one metal arm, because, yeah. Other than that, he just has green pants and a pretty cool hat, and that's it. Nice mustache as well. Breaking the top 5. Now, the reason this design isn't higher, despite it probably being my favorite Jax design in terms of just like design itself, like not attributing Jax to it, just design wise itself, it's probably the coolest looking skin on this entire list. I can't put it higher than number 5 because it's not really what Jax is supposed to be. This is the Mortal Kombat X Revenant skin. Now, a lot of people really like this design, and I'm included in that. Look, just the arms, awesome. They're huge and spiky, and yeah, Revenant, evil, edgy, let's go. And it's not just the arms, the whole glowing eyes and the things in his skin that are like the Revenant things make this whole design look really cool. The only problem I have with it though is that it makes his skin lighter, which is a bit problematic. Like literally in the scene where like the Revenants get their Revenantness taken away from them, like his skin just gets darker. And you know, that's kind of funny, but it's also kind of messed up at the same time. But yeah, it's a really cool design. Even the pants are like evil and demon-like, and it's cool, but like I said, I can't put it any higher because it's just not Jax. It's Revenant Jax. Basically a completely separate character, has a completely separate mind and thoughts and philosophy and what is good and what is bad. So this isn't really Jax, so I can't put this design super high up, but it's really cool. Probably my favorite, just looks aesthetic wise out of all the Jax designs. And number 4, we have his Mortal Kombat 11 pass design. Now, I really love how they updated the classic arms with the like lines going through them and put it in this design, and it looks awesome in my opinion. And I love the black leather jacket and how it's Jax. Like, it's basic, it's simple, but it's Jax with the leather jacket, and I love Jax with a leather jacket because I don't know, it just looks cool. It's kind of nice to have like some sort of separation between the metal arms and his normal skin. Like, I don't know, like something about that just looks cool to me. Now, my only problem with this design is that I think he looks a bit too young. Like, I don't know, so something about his face makes him look like a teenager instead of like a grown man who's been in the military for a while. But you know what, that could also just be like his personality. Like, for some reason he kind of talks like someone who's young, which is kind of weird, but like, I don't know. It's just Mortal Kombat 11's writing, and you know, that's not really the fault of the design or the people who made the design. It's just Mortal Kombat 11. They probably should have given him some sort of facial hair or something that makes him look not the way he does, but you know what, it's fine. It's fine, because other than that, it's a good design. I like it. That's why it's in the top 5 and number 4. Let's move on to now the top 3. Earning the bronze medal here is a design that's going to shock a lot of people because I don't normally like the designs from this game, but at number 3, I have his Mortal Kombat X design. I think this is a much better version of his Mortal Kombat 11 design because, I don't know, it just gives it more of a old disheveled war guy, and like obviously the metal arms are really cool. I love the American flag around the arm. I don't know, I just like that, even though I don't know, not sure how I feel about Jax being like this all-American character. I think that's a bit outdated, but my point is that it looks cool and it gives off that kind of veteran effect much more than the Mortal Kombat 11 one does, where he kind of just looks like a sad old dad. Like I said earlier with the tournament design, I don't really like how big and bulky the arms are. It's not as bad as Deadly Alliance or anything, but they're just a bit too big for my liking, to the point where it kind of makes the rest of his body look quite small. But other than that, it's a pretty good design, and I like it. For Mortal Kombat X design, it's really, really good. and it'll probably be the highest rating Mortal Kombat X designs will ever get throughout the rest of the series. Like, when I think about it, I just can't think of any other designs that are this good compared to other designs that the character has. So, yeah. At number 2, getting the silver medal, we have Mortal Kombat 4. Now, this design is very similar to the number 1 design, but there's one big difference, and that's the color of his pants. In this one, it's red, and you know, while I like it, and I like the rest of the design as well, I don't think red is as good as the color that we'll talk about in the next part. And you know, this is pretty simple Jax stuff. I mean, it's just him. It's Jax. I mean, he has the metal arms, he has the buff body, he has the pants that are spandex, which is just a product of like the arcade era, and that kind of carried over into Mortal Kombat 4, which is kind of in a weird spot where it's arcade era but also 3D era at the same time. But you get what I mean. And of course, this was the design featured in the legendary Jax ending of Mortal Kombat 4. Just gotta give it respect for that. Legendary. But at number 1, getting the gold medal, you guys probably know it at this point, I have his Mortal Kombat 3 design. I think this is the perfect design for Jax. I love the purple pants. I think it just looks cool. It makes him pop a bit more, especially with his like thing, like his purple energy that he throws out. Like, it just fits. It's like, it's matching, and I like that. This design, of course, was the first to feature the metal arms, and they look great in this game, and it's also kind of a part of why I like it so much, because if this game didn't introduce Jax having metal arms, then he probably never would have had metal arms, and he probably wouldn't have been as popular. In fact, he probably wouldn't have even been in Mortal Kombat 3, or any of the rest of the games, besides like maybe like one appearance in some random game. Like, I don't know, he'd probably be in Mortal Kombat 9 just because, like, it's Mortal Kombat trilogy, kinda. And he would also, of course, be in Mortal Kombat Armageddon. But other than that, I don't think he would have really been in any of the other games. But of course, the metal arms are what made him so popular, and so you have to be grateful for this design for introducing that aspect of the character. Though I wish the rest of the series would actually do more with the metal arms and tie it to his story instead of it just being an aesthetic thing. But you know what? Whatever. It doesn't matter. This design is great because it introduced a big part of Jax's character, and we respect it for that. So, here we have Mortal Kombat 3 Jax design. Excellent. And that's it for this design ranking video. The next one will be Johnny Cage. I know a lot of you guys have been excited for that one, so definitely stay tuned. Make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that you get notified when that video comes out. Also, make sure to give the video a like. And with that being said, that's it for this video, my fellow Waddies. I'll see you next time.